Winter, it was a freezy, extremely cold winter when the Hungarian Nazis, the so-called Arrow Cross Party, which was a kind of a militia or a movement, gathered Jews who were scattered all around the city and brought them here to shoot them into the Danube. This memorial was inaugurated in 2005 based on the idea of Csán Togay and sculptor Gyula Pauer. Hungarian Nazis first made sure that all Jews from the countryside were brought to Auschwitz in 44 summer, around the D-Day. Half a year later, in December, when most of the Budapest Jews who were still alive, were in the ghetto, but a very high number of Jews tried to hide somewhere in the city, like my grandmother. They were in fear that whenever the Arrow Cross or police or gendarmerie finds them, they will automatically gather them and move them here and shoot them to the Danube. They were afraid, but they were mostly had this vision already that Jews who are caught anywhere in the city are brought here. Approximately 3,000 Jews were shot and killed here in the Danube. Maybe Strauss had this weird imagination that the Danube is blue. Back then in 44, Danube was rather whitish, it was so icy. In our common memory, the Danube is rather red because of the blood of the thousands of Jews who were shot here on the banks. First, the Nazis made sure that we cannot get a proper education. Then they made sure that we lose our properties, we lose all our belongings or human dignity. And the very, very last step was bringing Jews here and making sure they leave behind their shoes. Shoes are always a very valuable things in times of war. The Hungarian Arrow Cross wanted to grab those shoes, use those shoes, maybe sell them, maybe use them. These Jews did not have anything left, only what they were wearing. Everything else was taken away from them in the previous couple of years. When the Nazis took them here, made sure they step out of their shoes and they shot them all to the Danube. They tried to gather these shoes, tried to use these shoes, and tried to step into these shoes. They took our inventions, our properties, our homes. They took everything only because they could. Only because they wanted to use whatever we had, whatever value or property or whatever belonging we had, they just wanted to have it for no price. So now we are here gathering and remembering the 3,000 plus people who were shot and killed here. And this memorial has a very deep meaning for us Jews in Budapest. We have the honoring duty and an enormous possibility to do something with these shoes. Maybe that's a shoe of a man with dreams. That's a shoe of a woman there with a favorite recipe. And there are children's shoes with the memory of their favorite games. Now we have this solemn duty to fulfill these shoes with remembrance, with all the values we learn from them, and we can share with others in the upcoming years and thousands of years. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions regarding this memorial, I'll be more than happy to answer as much as I can. But now let me call to this stage Lili Lépas, who will read us a poem.
Fragment by Miklós Radnóti. I lived upon this earth in such an age when man was so debased he sought to murder for pleasure, not just to comply with orders. His faith in falsehoods drove him to corruption. His life was ruled by raving self-deceptions. I lived upon this earth in such an age that idolized the sly police informers, whose heroes were the killers, spies, the thieves. and the few who held their peace or only failed to cheer were loathed like victims of the plague. I lived upon this earth in such an age when those who raised protest were wise to hide and know their fists in self-consuming shame. The crazed folk grinned about their terrifying doomed future, wild and drunk on blood and mire. I lived upon this earth in such an age when the mother of an infant was a curse, when pregnant women were glad to abort. The living envied the corpses, while on the table foamed their poisoned cup. I lived upon this earth in such an age when even the poet fell silent and waited in hope for an ancient, terrible voice to rise again. For no one could utter a fitting curse of such horror, but the scholar of dreadful words, Isaiah the prophet.
Thank you. And now I would like to ask Sergio Napchan from the Jewish community of Brazil to say the Kaddish.
יתגדל שמי רבה. ועלמד יפרח לוחתי, ולמען מלוכתי, ושמן קרים ואומרו אמן. ולכל דרכי בית ישראל וגל, בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהיה שמי רבה ונברא לעולם על מי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתרבם ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה ברכו. להלל מכל ברכתה שרתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירה ועלמה ואמרו אמן. יש מילה רבה משמיה בחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
And now we'd like to ask you, as you feel there are stones, flowers and candles, choose whichever is the most comfortable for you and just place it wherever you wish. Thank you.